Phil from Football Exposed, and in today's episode I'm going to be showing you guys how to maximize rear delt growth when doing your rows. Because you guys have heard me talking about rear delt swings popularized by John Meadows, which are pretty much a rear delt isolation exercise, and I do like these a lot, but at the end of the day, you don't only do swings and flies to bring up your rear delts. In my opinion, doing rowing variations is hands down one of the best ways to bring up those lagging rear delts, or if they're already developed, it'll take them to the next level. So the problem with a lot of people is that when they're doing their rows, they really do them in a lat dominant fashion. So people do their rows and they're really good for lats, but they're not really getting much rear delt growth out of them. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to get some bigger rear delts when doing your rows. So the majority of lifters, at least the serious lifters, incorporate a lot of rowing variations in their program, but it's rare that you ever see a lot of drug-free guys who have these huge bowling ball rear delts, and the reason why is because they need to make certain tweaks to their rows and they need to drop their ego a bit. So in this video, I know you guys know me as the guy who's promoting a lot of cheat rows, power rows, and stuff of that nature, but I've personally found that with the rear delts, they're very stubborn and they tend to respond very well to squeezes, controlled form, and you can't go that heavy with the lifts I'm going to show you, but they are going to generate a lot of rear delt growth. Okay, I can't stress the importance of the rear delts enough because they're responsible for so many things in the body, but aesthetically speaking, they make your tricep long head look bigger, which I'm a huge advocate of. They make you look thicker from the side, they make you look wider from the front, they give you a better base to press off of for your shoulder pressing, for your benching. They're good for shoulder health. They just make your shoulders look fuller as a whole, and the benefits just go on. So whenever you're trying to bring up any muscle group, where it's the rear delts or anything else, you always want to look at the function of that muscle. So if you look at the rear delts, they're responsible for horizontal abduction, which is pretty much the opposite of a pec deck. So when you're doing a pec deck motion for the pecs, it's horizontal adduction. You're adding it together, but abduction it's kind of like the reverse fly motion. The rear delts are also responsible for external rotation. So if we take these two things together and we apply it to the rows, we can get some serious rear delt growth, which I'll show you right now. Okay, so we just talked about horizontal abduction and external rotation. So how do you add these two factors onto rows? It's very simple. I'm going to show you my favorite rear delt exercise at the moment. Well, at least my favorite unilateral exercise. So it's a dumbbell row, but with a little bit of a twist. So as you can see, you got the dumbbell here. I'm getting into position. So most people, they do their dumbbell rows by grabbing the dumbbell and they have their elbow tucked directly by their side. Now this is great. This is great for the lats, but if we're really trying to emphasize that rear delt, we basically want to focus on horizontal abduction, which is pretty much kind of like a reverse fly, while adding in a bit of external rotation into the mix. When you do this, you're going to feel your rear delts cramping like nothing else. The soreness is going to be ridiculous. The activation is going to be out of this world. So let me demonstrate. The small twist you want to make first is that you want your elbows to be out to the side. This is coupled with horizontal abduction. So the more you tuck, the more you're working the lats. The more you're working the lats, the less the rear delts are working, and the more the lats are just taking over, and you won't be able to feel rear delts as much. So when you have your elbows out to the side like this, you won't be able to use as much weight because the weight is pretty much further away from your center of gravity. It's not as close as this, so you might have to cut the weight in half or something, but you're gonna feel the rear delt more. Then to add a little spin to it, you're gonna basically supinate your wrist at the top. You supinate, that's coupled with the external rotation. So let me demonstrate. Instead of doing the way most people row, you're basically gonna have a neutral at the bottom, and you're gonna come up to the top and you're gonna supinate. So like this. So right here at the top, the contraction, I'm getting the rear delts extremely hard. Okay, so the exercise I just showed you guys, we're gonna call it the one-arm dumbbell rear delt row. So this is an extremely effective exercise at really targeting the rear delts one at a time in a unilateral fashion. And I know that some people are gonna take this exercise completely out of context. You're gonna go super heavy with like a power style. And in my opinion, that's not the wisest thing that you wanna do, because the rear delts, in my opinion, are a tricky muscle in the sense that a lot of people don't really feel them. So I personally find they respond very well to holds at the top. You know, you really get it in the stretch position and you really squeeze to the top. It's gonna help improve your mind muscle connection. It's just gonna help you feel the rear delts better. So a lot of people, when they see this exercise, they're pretty much just gonna grab the heaviest dumbbell at the gym and just do start swinging it. But there's a time and place for this kind of stuff. And I personally find that for the rear delt row, you don't want to muscle it up. You want to, if you can't hold it at the top for 1 second, you're going too heavy. So elbows directly out to the side, supinating at the top. Okay, so the rear delt row is a phenomenal exercise as far as unilateral rear delt exercises are concerned, but this is not the only way to row to get bigger rear delts. Just remember the key points that I told you, the external rotation and the horizontal abduction. So you could take the same lift, you could do bent over, standing with 2 dumbbells where you're doing the same movement. You could even do supinated barbell rows with a bit of a wider grip. You could hold it at the top for a second. And even if you do wide grip pull-ups, supinated, and you lean back at the top, you can really get kind of like a rowing effect in there too. So as long as you're applying the principles I discussed earlier, you're gonna feel the rear delts working like crazy. You could do seated cable rows with a wide grip, really have the elbows out, supinated, and just squeeze the top, and the benefits are outstanding. There you guys have it. That's how you row to get bigger rear delts. Don't rely on your flies and your swings alone. You need some heavy rowing exercises in the mix as well. So you could have maybe 3 rowing variations or 2 every single program that really focus on the rear delts. You can have some other rows in your program that'll focus more on the lats and muscles of that nature. But I want you guys to remember that whenever you have a lagging muscle group, you always want to look at the function of the muscle. Look at the function and look at what the muscle is responsible for doing, and then you just attack it from different angles. So I hope that helped you guys out. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Try out the rear delt row today, and let me know in the comment section below how your rear delts feel.